Cool.
Check, check, check. We good?
Check, check, check. We good.
All right. So for everybody, thank you for tuning in. Thank you in advance for staying. I'm Courtney, better known as Court Cobain,
I'm Alex Black.
and this is the Cool in Real Life podcast where passions and purpose align.
We back.
We back up in this, John. We back. We back in Philly with it.
Yep. Back at the Cobain Casa.
Word. And we are closing out our year.
We are.
So this is a special episode. This is a wrap up of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
And before we do that, though, we're going to do a What's Your Life Like?
Yes. It's my turn to go first.
It's your turn. So what's your life like?
Oh man, this month, I've just been trying to pay attention to myself. Just, having check-ins with myself, because I know this sometimes can be a difficult month for me. So just trying to pay attention to my body, how I'm reacting and different things like that, and trying to like compare myself to like the last couple of years. So, like last weekend, for some reason, like I just felt just this heaviness on Saturday.
Okay.
I don't stay in the bed. I get up early.
Yeah.
So I was in the bed like 9, close to 10, and I just
In the morning or at night?
in the morning.
Okay.
I was in bed, pretty late for me, and I was just like, what is going on? So I remember the date, and that wasn't like a good date for me.
Yeah.
So instead of staying in that place, I intentionally got up. I was like, all right, let me, I know what could potentially happen. Let me go do something. So I went and got a bike. Didn't buy a bike.
Okay.
My mom has a bike. She don't ride no more. And so I'm trying to be, active and things like that. I won't be riding in the wintertime, but I just went and got it. You know what I mean? Instead of just staying in that place. So if I'm comparing myself to last year, like that's a lot of growth. Cause this time last year, like I ain't even want to be up in this piece no more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
So just trying to just be conscious of things like that this month, for me. So if I feel it coming on, like I can try to shift. That, and then had a huge opportunity. I don't know what's going on. Like every month I feel like these great opportunities keep just falling into my lap. So I remember I told you I had something to share with you.
I'm excited.
And you were like, oh, you got your DJ lessons? And I made you think that was it.
Oh,
God, I'm so good at lying. It's crazy.
Dang. Yo, nah, that's crazy.
I let you think that you guessed it, but what it was is my friend Sayla came back into town. She had a gig, and before that, like Ricky Parker, he's a professor at one of the colleges in Richmond. He sent me this invite to this event. They were Virginia Union was having their homecoming, so he sent me this invite to this event, and I was just like, why am I getting, you know what I mean? I felt like a little bit of imposter syndrome, because it was one of those like, this is not transferable, type of things. And I was like, oh man, like I wish Courtney was here. I didn't have to go by myself, all of these things. And then Sayla came back into town and she hit me up. She was like, hey, do you have like a portfolio with like event photography? And I was like, no. She wanted me to be a photographer so bad. I keep telling you I'm not. I'm not. But
shout out Sayla.
Shout out Sayla. So what it was is Nike was having this event at Virginia Union.
I saw that.
So one of their alumni, Dex, he is a stylist, and I think he's part owner of a brand, Diallo, with Tyrod Taylor. And Nike Yard Runners did a collab with him, so he's coming out with his Air Force One.
Oh, nice.
And so he paid homage to just Virginia Union and their colors and different things like that. And I just thought that was so dope. And so he asked Sayla to come and shoot that Nike event. And that's the event she wanted me to work at. Nice. That's also the event Ricky asked me to, sent me the invite to.
Yeah.
So, I didn't have the credentials to be able to work as an event photographer, but I was like, do you need any help? Like, are you going to be okay? She was like, yes. Can you just come and help me? Just, whatever. Then she spun back, was like, hey, they're offering such and such and such for my assistant. And I was like, I didn't ask to
Shout out.
And I was like, I didn't ask to like get paid or anything like
Right.
that. I didn't even know that was on the table. I was just, as your friend, did you need help? She's like, I know, but this money is on the table. Do you want it or not?
Yes, the money's on the table.
I tried to leave it a couple of times after
Why?
that because I just didn't. I don't know. I just didn't. I ended up taking. I said yes eventually. So she had me out there, and I was able to like, record footage and get some BTS and things like that done. And it just was crazy because when I was younger, I always wanted to work for Nike. You know what I'm saying? Until I realized that they do a lot of outside agency hiring to get their stuff done. Then I was like, okay, I don't need to actually work for the company. But at one point in my life, it was a dream of mine to like work with Nike. And then because I'm friends with Selah, she got this opportunity and she just brought us along, me and Kay. And so just an all Black woman team, out there
Nice.
holding it down. So
Nice.
that was dope.
I love that for you, man.
Yeah,
Listen, when there's money on the table, take it.
I will.
Because at the end of the day, even if you might feel like you're having imposter syndrome, you're not an imposter when it comes to your time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like your time, it has to stand for something. It's worth something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I think that, and I think like once you go into those spaces, you'll run into people that they don't have the credentials either, and
Mm-hmm.
you ask like, how did you even get here?
Yeah.
Like you don't have the credentials, but they gonna fake it till they make it.
Yeah.
So it's okay. If they doing it, we could do it too.
Right.
You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I can nestle my way up in that joint. Come through with the food. You dig what I'm saying?
Word.
Nah,
Heck yeah.
but I'm happy, man. I'm happy for you. And I like how you tried to make me think that I was right about something. Cause I saw that Selah was posting that. I had no idea you were a part of that. I didn't even see you in the
I didn't
footage.
even repost it. So that's why I was holding off until after
Word.
this.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Nah,
Yeah.
shout out to you, man. That's dope, man.
Yeah, that
That's
was
dope.
a wonderful opportunity. Just being out there, at a Black homecoming, just seeing like the OGs come through and, just a safe Black space for us.
Right.
That was just beautiful. And then my aunt, she's a alumni, so she was there by herself. And then she was able to like come over and like see me out there working. And I told her about the shoes and we took pictures and it was a good time.
That sounds
It was a
really
good
good,
time.
man.
Yeah.
That sounds really good. I think that I'm just happy. I'm just happy for you. Cause like you said, I can definitely see the growth between this year and last year.
Yeah.
I gauge myself, so to kind of like gauge you as well, it's like, yo, there's a lot of growth.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
That's it.
That's it. That's all.
That's it. That's all. What's your life like?
Busy.
Yeah.
Extremely busy. More busy than I would like to be, actually. But trying to find more time for myself, and I think I'm finding a way to condense cool in real life and condense my career and find time for myself.
Yeah.
And I've done that. Last episode I talked about going to Chicago for my birthday. This time obviously I'm going to talk about my time in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I'm in Chicago it's a great time.
Yeah.
I just had a great time. It felt like something out of like Love Jones for real. I'm not going to hold you because like I went to the speakeasy and it felt like that vibe.
Yeah.
Like it felt like that Love Jones vibe. You know what I'm saying? So I had a great time, man. This shout out the speakeasy out there, Dorian's, man. It was like basically the storefront of the speakeasy was a record store.
Tight.
So you go through, then it opens up to like a bar event space. So like they had like live music and it's very like intimate. So they had like a band with a singer and it was a Black shorty and she was up there singing like the internet and like just singing all types of dope stuff.
Yeah.
And the drinks were drinking.
Come on, man.
Now mind you, I don't really drink like that anymore. So when I go to restaurants like that and when I go to restaurants and stuff like that and I get a drink and it doesn't instantly make me tipsy, I'm like, oh, y'all are watering down your drinks because I don't drink at all. So if I have one cocktail, I should be out of here. Like I should be nice and mellow. And all the restaurants that I've gone to, I didn't get that impact. I went to Dorian's. I stumbled up in that Uber. You heard? It was fun. I had a great time. I saw beluga whales for the first time.
Okay.
Their aquarium is really, really dope. And I'm not really a fan of zoos and aquariums and things like that. hold animals in captivity. I'm not really into that.
Yeah.
However, their aquarium is beautiful.
Mhm.
So it overlooks the Great Lakes, and it's like they have their aquarium is like a big pond. You don't see what's in it at first because you're up high.
Mm.
So you walk down, you kind of see like it's like this big panoramic window, and you see the lake out there,
Mm.
like the Great Lakes out there.
Yeah.
And then you see the water inside the aquarium that's enclosed inside. So it kind of looks, it gives the impact of like, or the illusion that like it's just water.
Mhm.
And then I saw something swimming in that joint,
Mm-mm.
and I was like, "What the hell is that?" It was a beluga whale. It
Wow.
was a few of them in there.
Wow.
So, that was cool. Beluga whales are very smart. So hopefully they're having a good life. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But no, I had a great time in Chicago. I gotta refer to my notes.
Okay.
Um, I'm sorry, y'all. I just be so busy that it's like, okay, I wanted to ask you about something, but I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna save
Uh-oh.
that. Um, Treating yourself to the world. So when I went out to Chicago, I was on the phone with one of my homies, and they were just like, "Yeah, man, you got to get out. Like, you have to treat yourself to the world. Like, you deserve it."
Mm.
So that's just something that I'm gonna start doing, just traveling more, breaking outside of my comfort zone, meeting people. Um, I've been throwing myself out there. Now that I put it out there, I went to any. Okay, let me rewind because I
Mhm.
I had a very eventful month.
Yes, you did.
And now that I'm thinking about it, it's all coming back.
Mhm.
So prior to going to Chicago, I was still in the city in Philly, and I was coming off from work. I think I was working like 3 shifts in a row, so I was a little tired, but I'm like, something just told me go out.
Mm.
I never do this. I'm such a homebody to the point where I never go out, and it's not good for me. It's not good for my mental health. So
Mm.
I'm just like, yo, let me just go out. There was a Joe Fresh Goods event out here in the city, and there was a listening party by this artist that I love, Black Butterfly.
Mhm.
So I went to the Joe Fresh Goods event. That was really tight. I went by myself. I didn't have anybody to go with. And I'm sitting in the row, like the row right behind the front row.
Mm.
And this guy just taps my shoulder, like, "What's up? Are you a creative of some sort?" And that feeling can come, like imposter syndrome can come on. And I'm like, I am.
Mm.
I actually am,
Yeah.
yes. So we started to chop it up. Long story long, he and I networked, and we ended up aligning on a lot of things. And hopefully in the future we'll do some work together. Shout out Antonio. So just me being out and about, I
Yeah.
guess I had a certain look to me.
Mhm.
I'm the type of person, you talk to me, I'm gonna talk back.
For sure.
I'm not always gonna necessarily like start the conversation. Sometimes I will,
Mhm.
but if you talk to me, I will definitely talk back.
Mhm.
We linked up later on in the month. I helped him out with his brand, gave him some ideas
Dope.
for the free,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
boom, you know what I mean? Because he
Mhm.
seems like a very genuine person. Um, and that was really, really cool. Then I left that event. I spun over to Black Butterflies listening party. That was really dope. Um, at P's and Q's down on South Street. If you're familiar with the city, it's a streetwear clothing store. So it was just a really, really good night. I had a great night.
Yeah.
And that was a good way to like usher in my birthday. Like that was like the first leg of my birthday weekend. Then after that, I shot down to DC, kicked it with some homies, did a lot of networking out there, did not expect to do any networking out there, but it's like every outing that I did was extremely how do I purposeful.
Mm.
Like it turned out to be extremely purposeful.
Yeah.
So and intentional. So I met up with there's this really great like it's a wellness. I don't know what ground it would be considered in DC. These two sisters, they opened up a store, like a brick and mortar like storefront. It's called Grounded. It's like a wellness center. They focus on um wellness in its totality. They'll do like, I think they do like yoga sessions in there. They do hiking groups.
Wow.
It's like a coffee house in there.
Mhm.
It's a workspace. It's really, really beautiful. And they
Mm.
sell plants.
Yeah.
So it's just a bunch of plants all throughout there. And I ended up talking to one of the owners, and, once again, networking, and just, I don't know, just very intentional. Everything just felt really intentional.
Mhm.
We went to this vinyl event out there. I met a few people there,
Yeah.
just digging for records, coming across like-minded people. And then after that, I shot over to Chicago, ran into some people I ran into the first time in Chicago that I met.
That's
So
dope.
it's just like, yo,
That's
like
dope.
I just had a really, really good like birthday weekend birthday.
Good.
I hung out with my Dukes. She spent the night. That was cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I try to like you said, I put a gauge on what my life was like this time last year. This time last year, I didn't even want to celebrate myself.
Mhm.
I didn't find myself worthy enough to be celebrated because I just wasn't in a good place.
Mhm.
I was going through a lot. A lot had happened that I wasn't proud of. I wasn't happy about. And this year, I feel like I deserve to be celebrated. I want to celebrate myself. So I'm putting myself out there more. One of my prayers is that love comes to me with ease. People fall into my life with ease that are in alignment with where I'm at in life and where I want to go.
Yeah.
And since I started praying that, I've just been coming in contact with people that seem to be of a higher vibration.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So I'm just thankful all around. That's the one thing. I know that was very long-winded. I'm so sorry.
You said long story long.
I know I had such an eventful month though.
Yeah.
Um, I had a conversation with the homie, same homie that said treat yourself to the world, right? Meeting people when you're younger versus older,
Mhm.
and how that's like the ebbs and flow of life. And I so basically we were talking about like meeting people when you're younger is easier than meeting people when you're older. And I don't necessarily agree with that. Like after going out and just like I said, having that prayer that things come to me with ease, people, good natured people come to me with ease, love comes to me with ease. I've been able to meet random people
Yeah.
that want to be a part of my life.
Mhm.
And I think that like when the homie said that, I was saying to her, I think that when you're younger, you're not as closed off. You're still very much open as a person. So maybe that's why people come in and come out of your life when you're younger. Whereas when you're older, you've had time to put up blockades
Mm.
and you've had time to close yourself off to certain things.
Mhm.
So maybe that's why people stop flowing in and out of your life. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I think when you become older, you withhold and you kind of withstand the ebbs and flow of people,
Mhm.
right? And connections. And I think now with like social media, we hold on to connections a lot longer than we need to. Instead of releasing those things, we
Yeah.
feel obligated to keep people around.
Yeah.
We'll mute people before we remove people.
Mhm.
It's very odd. And I always felt that way about social media. Like, all right, some of you people from high school, I don't even want to know. I didn't want to know y'all back then. I definitely don't want to know y'all now. Don't want to see your kids. Don't want to see your engagement. I don't care. And
Yeah.
it's respectfully, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like, we're not on the same timeline. You know what I'm saying? And I think that like whoever came up with no new friends is just stupid.
Mm.
Like, I think that we should release to allow better in our lives. And I think that like since I've been thinking of that, I've been having a lot better in my life.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Um, I think I agree like with you more.
Yeah.
Um, to me, I think I am the same way where I've just been coming in contact with so many people um later in life.
Yeah.
I mean I've had the same friends though since high school. I've been friends with y'all since I was 15.
Yeah.
And but the friends that I met in college too, like my roommates and my core group, I'm still friends with them too.
Right.
So, I've come into contact with people. I think maybe back then I was trying to attach myself to I've always had this like urge to create or this desire to create. So, I would see people and then I would want to help like facilitate their ideas. Um and sometimes you might get the cold shoulder like a little bit. And so like later in life it's like I'm still trying to do the same thing, but they want to be in community with me as much as I want to be in community with
Right.
them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I don't even look at it like I'm just not taking new people in. Like, you go through life and you know what you will and won't accept. I feel like I'm a nice, warm, kind person.
You
So,
are.
people are gonna come to me. I'm not gonna like shun them away. I just met a new friend. I just went out with her last
Yeah,
night.
you were
You know what
telling
I'm
me.
saying?
Yeah, you were telling me.
It's crazy how that work. You let one go and another one come in. You know
And
what I
that's
mean?
why that's why it's important to release.
Yeah.
Because when we hold on to things, and I don't think that anything's wrong with like having friends that have been in your life for like a long term,
Yeah.
as long as the alignment is there, as long as the timelines are meant to be that way.
Right.
But I think that when we try to hold on to people based on how long they've been in our lives, and we
Mhm.
try to put significance on time
Yeah.
versus intentionality,
Yeah.
it's like that's when it becomes a problem.
For sure.
Yeah.
If the relationship is no longer serving you, then sometimes you got to spin off.
Gotta spin off.
No love lost, you know what I mean? And it don't even have to be like no hard feelings or anything toxic that happens. Sometimes you just grow, apart, and that's okay.
There's no
So,
beef in an ended relationship.
yeah.
There's no beef in that.
Mhm.
Ending a friendship or a relationship, there should be no beef.
Yeah.
Yeah, just I think that conversation just made me extremely grateful for where I'm at.
Mm.
And extremely grateful for where you are as well, because I think our timelines are like this, like they're kind of parallel. Like whatever you're doing in Richmond, I'm kind of doing here in Philly.
Yeah.
Without us really knowing until we sit down on the couch. And I think that that's really dope. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that was one thing. What else? Sitting in the what is instead of the what if.
Mm.
So I have a hard time with like being present. I think I'm constantly thinking forward, thinking of how to take cool in real life to the next step.
Yeah.
My love life, what does that look like in the future? Holding on to things and people that maybe are not around, are not serving at all.
Yeah.
Not opening up myself to things that may be serving. You know what I mean? Or sabotaging, self-sabotaging, thinking about the what ifs. Well, what if this is like this, and what if it is blah 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 blah, instead of what is. What is right now is you're loved. What is right now is you're appreciated.
Yeah.
What is right now is that you're seen, you're valued. What is right now is that you have people in your life that are really good for your nervous system. There's no triggering. You're not triggering anything in anybody, and you're not also being triggered.
Mhm.
That is the what is. And that's all I should be focusing on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm setting healthy boundaries for myself that are being translated well to others. I'm respecting boundaries. And I see the difference in my life.
Mm.
That's the what is.
Yeah.
The what ifs, I have no control over that.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So kind of letting that go, stop being so far ahead that I'm not enjoying the right here, right now.
Yeah.
So right here, right now is beautiful.
Mm.
I'm literally living in a prayer. I know that I say that like from one episode to the next, but sometimes it's hard to be present in your prayer. It's hard to be present. You know what I mean? So right now I'm just focusing on being present in my prayer. Like I may have prayed for this 10 years ago.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's come to fruition.
Mm.
And I'm so grateful for that. And just whenever I get too far ahead of myself, I just have to recenter and reground myself and just be super thankful for what I have in the here and now.
Yeah.
And just being open to whatever falls into place later on,
Yeah.
and just allowing it to fall as it may.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
We talk about recognizing when the things that you've prayed for have come into your life, but also like being present in it as well.
Yeah.
I think that's big. I think that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we can all say that we're living a prayer, but like being present in that prayer
Right.
and being
Mhm.
cognizant that I am living in a prayer, those are two different things. Like it's easy to say something, it's hard to actually be in it.
Right.
So yeah, that's where I'm at. And we always shout out God. Shout out God.
Shout out God.
Every episode, we gonna shout you out, homie. That's the big homie.
The big one.
All right, last thing, Alex's K-pop. So the last playlist November was 100% yours. You put
Uh-huh.
a lot of K-pop on that joint.
Only 3.
That's a lot. But you know what I mean? It was enough to be like noticeable.
Mhm.
Cause I feel like we've been kind of like weaving it in there. Then we put the Blue Eye Samurai on that joint to let people know, yeah.
Mhm.
I'm not new to this. I'm true to this.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about the K-pop because I felt like you were going to leave it out. You did something. You did something. You took a trip to a different city to listen to some type of music.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I just want people to know this is the K-pop homie in the flesh. This is the K-pop homie. And I honestly, I do listen to a lot of music from around the world. I think that I was on the fence with K-pop, and
Mhm.
I want to thank you for kind of like opening up my mind and my ears to something different. Allowing me to diminish my judgment
Mm.
on it. Because I looked at it like it was straight appropriation. Like
Mhm.
that's literally how I felt. Like it
Mhm.
felt a little bit like jarring for me at first.
Yeah.
And then like just seeing how much you like it and seeing how many black people are really into K-pop and then you breaking it down to me like, yo, some of these musicians that are not getting on in America, they going over there
Mhm.
and they're actually being paid what they deserve. They're actually, being able to create the music that they want to create.
Yep.
And they're able to move and shake with their talents.
Mhm.
So I want you to talk about that. I'm so glad I brought that up. Go ahead, man.
Cause
Go
I
ahead,
didn't
bro.
even know. I didn't know what you were talking about. Okay, so I went to the XG concert. That's one
Yeah.
of my favorite groups. So technically, XG isn't K-pop because they're Japanese.
Mm.
But they aren't J-pop either because they sing in English. All of their songs are 100% in English. So they're like a global girl group.
So are they G-pop?
No, because I love corny jokes.
Are they G-pop?
Oh God, Courtney, it's gonna keep playing in my head.
I ain't never hear about no J-pop.
Oh, I'm hot. Oh, my ears.
Caught you off guard.
Oh man, you ain't had to do that. Okay, they call themselves X pop. I don't even get like that just because like I guess they're a combination of both. They got some explanation out there. But at the end of the day, they're not K-pop because they're not Korean. They're not a J-pop group because even though they are Japanese women, they don't sing in Japanese. They sing in all English and promote all over the world. So yeah.
Is it like so X pop? Is the X kind of like Latin X? You just drop that John so then you could just be all encumbersome.
Yeah.
That's
We're
what's
gonna
up.
say that. We're gonna say that.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Um
Shout out X pop.
Please give me a chance. No, I really I really like them. And I mean, I totally understand because we've had conversations, about K-pop and your feelings about it and different things like that. And that's when, some of them do be committing like, cultural appropriation, a lot of those groups. Because it's like they don't understand that just because you have like maybe a hip hop and R&B concept that you don't gotta put them in braids and have them dressed with like Chingy in 2006. Like, what's up
Yeah,
with you?
man. Yeah, that's crazy.
So yeah, but you did tell me you was like you better put some K-pop on the playlist, and I did.
Yeah, man. Cause it was your playlist.
Hmm.
So it's like I feel like there's no better way to get to know a person than to listen to what they listen to.
Yeah,
I've always felt that way. So you would be doing yourself a disservice to not put K-pop on there because
right.
that's literally what you vibe to.
Yeah,
You
and
know
it's
what I
more of
mean?
like because even it's K-pop, but I listen to more of like the R&B,
Yeah.
side of it.
Yeah.
I think when people hear the K-pop, they think of like that cute,
Facts.
bubbly, and I don't
You don't like that.
I don't like that. Um,
The homie hit me. It was like, oh, what's all this R&B? I don't know what they saying. It
Neither do
sound
I.
good though.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what they say.
That's what's up.
That's what's up, man. So
Mhm.
yeah, man. I'm glad you stayed true to it. It wasn't, it's like you took us through a journey through all the things that you like. I think like the way I approached my playlist was more like I'm a curator naturally. Like
Yeah.
that's naturally what I am. I used to
Mhm.
get in trouble for that because a lot of people might look at that like that's being fake or phony, but it's like, like everything has to be curated. Then
Uh-huh.
what about you is real?
Mm.
That really is me.
Yeah, 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 for sure.
I'm just a natural curator. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So like I approached my playlist a little bit more curated. Like I kind of wanted to take the listener through a curated sound, like ease you in, drop you off, pick you back up. You know what I'm saying? Like whereas you took us through a journey through your interest.
Mhm.
I like this, I like that, I like this, I like that, and I'm gonna throw all that shit on there, and you gonna vibe to it or you not.
Yeah.
I like that.
Thanks.
That was it was a vibe.
Thanks.
Yeah, man. Also, you got a birthday coming up. Now, last episode, this is always pre-recorded, but you got me. Last episode I don't forgot, but I ain't forget this time. Happy birthday, dog. Cause this person right here don't celebrate herself, but I caught you. Yes, I ain't got no flowers and I ain't got no miffy, but I got a happy birthday for your ass. Happy birthday, homie.
Thank you.
It's good to have you here. Another lap around the sun, you dig? We gonna celebrate that. We gonna celebrate life. This ain't look, cause you said don't have me out in no restaurant. They come out with the sparkles. Happy birthday to
That's
okay.
why I'm going home.
But I'm gonna catch you on the pod.
You was so mad at me. I would not let you go back and
I wanted to
record
go,
it.
y'all. I wanted to go back and edit in me acknowledging the homie's birthday, and you would not let me do that.
Mm-mm.
But you know what? I do respect where you stand and not wanting to be celebrated just yet. My prayer for you is that in due time, you want to celebrate yourself. Cause I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. But thank you for the well wishes and things.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And I think that's it.
That's it, that's all?
No. At the photo shoot today, you got pooped on.
Yeah, I did.
And I think I might be making this up, but I think it's good luck when a bird poops on you, yo.
Okay.
I think.
Then we gonna ride that. Pause.
Nah, we gonna ride that. We gonna rock with that. The hell?
Ride it in 2025.
Nah.
Rock with it in 2025.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Is it good luck?
Why didn't you ask Siri instead of typing it?
Cause I'm old school.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, for a bird. Yeah, is it good luck? Yes, some believe that being pooped on by a bird is good luck. So yeah, it's up. On to 2025, dog. I saw that poop stain on your back. I was so happy. I saw your poop stain. You doing your job. Thank you.
okay.
You helping us out.
Word.
And we gonna wrap this drawing up.
Word.
That's it. That's all.
That's it, that's all.
All right.
We out.
We out.
Cool. We back.
We back, yo.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so this is episode 9, the wrap up.
The wrap up.
In this episode, we are closing out 2024 and we are marching into 2025.
Mm-hmm.
So in this episode, we just gonna talk about the year that
Yeah.
we've had,
Mm-hmm.
different takeaways. What did we learn?
Mm-hmm.
What are some things that we're happy about? What are some things that we're not happy about?
Yep.
And what are some things that we learned along the way?
Yeah. Well, first, thank you.
For what?
Saying yes.
Thank you for asking me.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
You know, it was a random call that we were on. I know we talked about it before, but it really wasn't my intention to ask you to do this with me at all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you've expressed how you didn't have an interest to do, a pod anymore. So thank you for just pushing past like all of that and saying yes anyway. And just going on a journey with me. Like I don't think This is clearly not what like I had in mind initially. I don't think this what any of us had in mind. Like over the last year, we've just continuously added on, to it.
Right.
Throwing out like every idea, just trying. The people don't know that this was really just like us. It's like trial and error for us. You know what I mean?
Man.
It looks really good, you know what I mean? They're just seeing like, the final product, but you don't know like what we've done and it's like, okay, we've done that. This isn't working. We cannot do that anymore. Let's shift here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So to be able to go through that and have the opportunity to put such a good product out, drop stuff off that was no longer serving us and the people not notice and us not miss a beat, I think that's cool,
That is cool.
you know?
And I realized that like some things that we dropped off, we found a way to circle back
Mm-hmm.
and bring it back. I think that first and foremost, I want to say thank you for asking me. I thank you for thinking of me in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for acknowledging my talents, and thank you for being a damn good facilitator. I think that the biggest thing like going into this, like you said, it was just like a conversation of a podcast. Because I think at the time you were doing a podcast and you it wasn't aligning anymore in the way that you may have wanted it to. And I wasn't doing anything at all. And I was against having a podcast because I feel like everyone is talking about something right now.
Yeah.
And the podcast that I do try to tune into, it's not meaningful talk. It's not vulnerable. There's no humanity in it. You know what I mean? It's pretty much like gossip talk or surface level conversations, man versus woman, dating,
Right.
like, bull crap, stuff that people can't truly take away.
Mhm.
People that you can't listen to it and really internalize the message and really take it with you in a profound way. So excuse me. I was really against it at first, especially with me doing this back in 2017, and we really did have a good turnout with Black is New Black.
Yeah.
And I was a little heartbroken when I had to kind of wrap that up to finish out school at the time, and grades were dropping behind, and then when I returned back to it, it was like the audience was gone
Mm.
because of the saturation, the oversaturation of podcasts at that point.
Yeah.
It just wasn't a space for us anymore. So I was afraid that that would happen to us.
Mm.
I was afraid that people wouldn't want to hear what we had to say.
Mhm.
I was afraid to expose myself. You know what I mean?
That's real.
Like, especially with like being in front of a camera.
Yeah.
It's one thing to have a podcast where it's just your voice. It's
Mhm.
another thing to actually be seen in the flesh. And then not only that, the things that we would add onto it that would push us even more in front of the lens.
Yeah.
But I'm thankful that you put a battery in my back, because you putting a battery in my back allowed me to put a battery in your back, and
Mhm.
now we just moving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just so thankful. This was like at the time, it's like we were just coming together as friends. We were just having a conversation. It wasn't even, I don't want to say that it wasn't supposed to be all of this, because God had other plans for us.
Right.
But I don't think at the time I even knew
Mm.
that it was going to be this.
Mhm.
Um, I look back at what we've done. I look back at what I've created with this, and I'm in such amazement. Like, I'm so amazed by what we've been able to produce.
Yeah.
Um, like, I know that we're talented, but it's one thing to like see it and you be like, how did I even do that?
Right.
Like, what was the driving force of me doing that? Like, I'll look back at some of your edits and I'll be like, yo, this is fire. You know what I mean? And like, I'll look back at some of my designs and I'm like,
Gas.
you know what I mean? Like, I
Mhm.
think that like, even just designing the social media,
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
I'm such a fan of it myself. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't give a damn if no one likes it. I love it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like my barometer. Do you like it? Do I like it? Do you love it? Do I love it? All right, cool. Then I feel good about it.
Right.
Um, but then to see the response, crazy.
Yeah.
I think that part is the crazy part. Like to hit 2,000 followers on a brand new account.
Right.
Cause remember, I was like, well, yo, should we repurpose the Black is the New Black? Because it already had about 800 on there.
Mhm.
I am coming back. Some of those people were there for me because I was half of that.
Right.
Should we just repurpose this and build on top of what's already there? And it's like, it just didn't feel right.
Mhm.
We built it up from the ground up,
From the
like
ground.
from the mud.
Mhm. It's not
And
even a year.
not even a year, because we started in April.
Yeah.
That's the first piece we put out in April
Mhm.
of this year. So I'm just extremely proud of us, man. I'm proud that like we have the type of friendship that is completely transparent. We never save face. We always talk about what's going on in a real way.
Yeah.
We realized that we both weren't creating anymore. And I think it was like a homie check-in. Like you were trying to check in with me, like, yo, what's
What's
up,
up?
dog? Like, what's up? Like, when's the time for you to really pop off? And I think I'm just appreciative of having people in my life that see something in me that I don't necessarily see in myself.
Mm.
Um, in the What's Your Life, like I talked about how like me being a curator sometimes has been viewed as being, I don't want to say fake, but being calculated.
Okay.
Like always having to have everything in, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
in place.
Mhm.
And it's like, literally been this way since a kid. I had to really think about that
Yeah.
within 2024. This year, I really pondered on curation.
Mm.
What does that mean? I had to take that to therapy, even. I
Mm.
had to take that to my spiritual sessions, even.
Mhm.
Like, is this me putting on a mask?
That's real.
Am I hiding behind curating?
Yeah.
And the reality is, I've been sent here to curate. Like, I am sent here to make things look a certain way.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, I've had friends that have seen my space and they've seen the things that I do on social media just on the fly. Like, it'll be stuff that I just do from an iPhone. And they'll be like, yo, you're really good at it. You should X, Y, and Z. You should maybe go into interior design. You should maybe go into this, that, and the third.
Mm.
And I've realized that I'm only willing to do it on my terms.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to do it for other people. Like, I don't think that that's something that I necessarily want to do off the bat.
Mhm.
I think that I'd rather do it for myself first. And if it transfers over into that, if
Yeah.
it expands out that way, then so be it. But I'm just thankful that you've helped me create a space where I can just go crazy.
Mhm.
And I know it's been hard, dog. This year's been hard.
Yeah.
Cause you be like, yo, all right. I'll be hitting you over the head with some stuff.
Yeah. It's cool. And I know, you've had to drag me along, sometimes too with
Mhm.
some things. We just had to learn, each other. With us being friends, we've never done something in this capacity before.
Right.
So we the friendship is down. We got that down pat. How can we serve each other as business partners though? You know what I mean? How can
Right.
we show up for each other um in the way that we both need to? So
Yeah.
it took some learning, going through some frustrations and things like that till we could get on a good foot with each other. And now it's just like a well-oiled machine. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's not to say that I'm not gonna still do things. Just last night I'm like, all right, my bad. I could do this better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It forces me to continuously like check in with myself. This is how I'm used to doing things. It's okay. Just say this and it's really not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? And then we can move forward. So just things like that.
Yeah, I think that we've definitely learned. I don't want to speak for you, but I've learned how to be in relation with people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I've learned how to be gentle with people.
Yeah.
I've learned where I've gone wrong. Like, okay, my approach might be a little bit too brash because I feel like what people don't see, this is the court that people don't see. The court that people fail to see is like a very passionate, like the end result is cool,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't see how passionate I can get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if I have a vision and I can't get that vision out, that is very frustrating.
Mhm.
And I think there's been times when I've blown a gasket when we lost our SD.
Mhm.
Somebody stole
Mhm.
our hard drive, you know what I'm saying? And we lost half of our content for the month. And not even just that, I think what really bothered me with that is that damn, we're on that hard drive. We're exposed
Yeah.
to eyes that don't care for us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we're not in control of ourselves at that point. Like whatever they do with that footage is whatever they do with it. And something that we did belongs to someone else now because they stole it from us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like that drove me up a wall. And I think that like we had to like really like lock in as friends because you was like, yo, I understand you frustrated, but yo, like you getting mad like this. And it made me like, oh snap, like I love Alex. I don't never wanna
Yeah.
get mad to the point where I'm losing sight of that. I don't
Mhm.
want my anger to make me lose sight of the people around me.
Mhm.
And that has helped me with my anger problems. Like real rap. Like real rap. Like I think that growing up in an environment when something is done that's not favorable, the first thing is to be angry.
Yeah.
I realized that's not necessarily how I want to move.
Mhm.
So moving forward, I think I kind of stopped doing that. I think I still show some levels of frustration at times, but not like that.
Yeah.
Not like that. And
Mhm.
I think that like we've learned how to not just be, like you said, not just be friends, but like really be in partnership. Like
Right.
this is like something that we're coming together in creating. We're putting money into this, we're putting time into this, we're putting in our intellect, we're putting in our talents, we're putting in so much into this
Yeah.
that it's like we both wanted to see it grow.
Mhm.
I think the hardest part that we had was like, what are the roles?
Mhm.
Once we really figured that, I mean, and we constantly had to come back to that conversation.
Yeah.
Like, what are the roles? What are the
Mhm.
roles? What are the roles? I'm like, I feel like I'm like doing so much. And then you had to like, yo, I'm just good at facilitating.
Mhm.
And that was a conversation we had a few times before
Right.
it
Cause,
clicked.
cause I wasn't still understanding like how to still show up in the facilitator that is satisfactory for you. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And once like I'm thinking it had to be this big old thing. I got to come with all these ideas and this and this. And then once you broke it down, once we had that third conversation,
Yeah.
it's been up since then.
It's
It's
been
like
up since
you were just
then.
like, no, I'm not asking you to do this. I need this bet. So now, you know,
Yeah,
yeah.
man. And I think that that has taught us both what effective communication is.
Hmm.
Sometimes you do have to circle the block and
Yeah.
have the same conversation a few times because one of my great friends, we had this conversation recently. We all process things differently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So my communication style is different from your communication style. How you input what I'm saying may be different from how I'm inputting what you're saying,
Yeah.
and how I'm my output might come off different from me versus your input,
Mm.
right? So like it's okay to circle the block and have the same conversation several times.
Yeah.
I think that we're taught that that's not okay. It is perfectly okay.
Hmm.
It's okay. I think that that's where grace is at.
Yeah.
Grace is in that space.
Hmm.
That space where it can be instead frustration. Why you ain't? I gotta. Nah.
Yeah.
Yes, you do have to repeat yourself.
Hmm.
Yes, you do have to have this conversation again. Yes, we do have to sit down and really, communicate and flesh things out and write it down. Yes, that's okay.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the breakdown in a lot of relationships are.
Hmm.
People are not willing to circle the block on the same conversation, the same dialogue, the same dilemma, whatever.
Right.
And I am so thankful that I have a friend like you that I can do that with.
Mm.
And that we didn't get overly frustrated to the point where we shut down and we like, you know what, forget this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Hmm.
I could see that being a thing.
Hmm.
A lot of people struggle with that.
Yeah.
But I think once we really understood, like, yo, Court, you're the what did you call me?
Visionary.
You're the visionary behind it. So you are the one with the ideas.
Mm-hmm.
You are the one that's coming up with all of these little nuances, and you're pushing us. Like you're pushing us. And I'm here. Well, no, you're not pushing us, but you're putting us in a certain stratosphere, and I'm here to push us there.
Mm-hmm.
Once we learn that you're the master facilitator and I'm the master, whatever you just said,
Visionary.
visionary, I think that that's where it was just like, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And I think that's unfortunately hard for friendships or relationships and things like that too, because everybody can't be player one. Sometimes you need a player two.
Word.
You need someone who's cool with being Luigi, so Mario can go out there and do what Mario need to do.
Luigi was putting in that work
You know
too.
what I'm
He was
saying?
stomping on
Right.
the
You know
mushrooms.
what I'm saying?
He was getting them Koopas up out of there.
It's nothing wrong with, not everybody is meant to run in lane number one. I'm cool with running in lane number two. Not because I don't see that as a diminishment. I know that this is a partnership. You know what I'm saying?
But
Mm-hmm.
if you wanna keep the analogy of the Super Mario Brothers, I fall in that pit hole. It's your turn to be number one in that
Yeah.
number one spot.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta be ready for that too. So
Yeah.
it's not, player number one can't always be player number one.
Right.
But if we're gonna stay to that analogy and we're gonna pull it into today's time, they running together.
Mm-hmm.
If you play Mario Brothers right now on Switch, Luigi and Mario, they running together.
Yeah.
There is no, you know what I mean? They just have different roles.
That's it.
You see what
And
I'm
I think
saying?
sometimes people egos can get in the way. You know what I mean?
Facts.
I don't have no, from the gate, anytime someone says something about how good the social media look, that's all her. That came out of her mind.
I appreciate
I
that.
don't never, because first of all, I don't like taking credit for things that I didn't do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm never going to do that, especially not to my friend. I ain't had nothing to do with it. That was her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just on there trying to make sure I like and comment and respond in time. That's it.
Yeah, man. Because I
Mm-hmm.
was saying, I'm like, yo, like I can design it. I could come up with the stuff. I can put it out there. I'm not really good with the comments.
Yeah.
I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Now, sometimes if I know that you're busy,
Right.
I'll step in.
Mm-hmm.
But yo, the comments, you really talking to the dog. You ain't talking to, you talking to the homie. You know what I'm saying? So I think that like we both have, and even though like I might be like the visionary behind it, right? I think that I encouraged you to come up with ideas
Yeah.
whenever you can
Mm-hmm.
and however you can. And I think our thing was, no matter how minute your idea is, it is a good idea.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as like, I think when people are trying to create and they're trying to be curators or creatives, there's like this grandiose thing. It has to be this big broadcast. And it's like, nah, it'd be those small ideas that can eventually turn into
Yeah.
the big rollout. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? But sometimes you just need that small little starting point. Um, and sometimes as a visionary, you don't always have it. So when you be coming up with little ideas, like
Yeah.
the cool was Alex.
Mm-hmm.
That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful touch. We
Yeah.
put it on everything now. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And that's the homie's voice. You know what I mean? Um, we've had so many ideas around that, and then we were just like, nah, it's ours, 100%. Like we were
Right.
trying to put family members on that. We was nah, like we gonna keep it. We're gonna just keep it streamlined. Like it's cool.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I think that we found healing in this
Mm-hmm.
because I think that when we had that conversation, when I was like, yo, it doesn't matter how big or small your idea is, share it.
Right.
You've been in a space where your ideas weren't always taken with respect
Mm-hmm.
to the point where you felt like when you have an idea, it has to be this big thing,
Right.
So I'm so thankful that we see each other, man.
For sure.
We definitely see each other. It's a lot of and we're teaching people that you can really create something with your friend.
Yes. I know that's a thing, but when
Yeah,
y'all
man.
really, if you really good friends, like minded, level headed, it's possible to be done.
and you got to kill the ego.
For sure.
Even as the visionary, because the visionary isn't always like the ego response isn't always um I'm the head of this.
Mm.
That's not always the how you feel. Sometimes you feel I'm alone in this.
Right. Right.
And that's how I felt at first. I'm
Mhm.
alone in this.
Mhm.
Until we came to the conclusion like this is your role, dog. You doing what you naturally, this is how your mind works.
Yeah.
My mind works a little bit different.
Mhm.
You give me the idea, then I can create all the different framework for that idea.
Mhm.
Some visionaries are not good at that. And
Mm.
I feel like every great visionary needs a great facilitator. And it's not that like the visionary is the head of the operation. It's just one separate role. Because if you don't have any facilitation, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The idea falls flat for you, and then
Mhm.
God gives it to somebody else,
Yeah.
and they pick it up and they run with it, and they do
Right.
what they do what's supposed to be done with it.
Mhm.
So I don't even look at myself like player one and you're player two. I look at myself like I might be the brains, but you're the heart. Without having the heart, the brain's not even functioning.
Yeah.
Both things are very vital to the body.
Yeah.
And now what we are trying to do is find other organs. We're trying to find other teammates to come on board to help facilitate
Right.
whatever creations that we want to come up with.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So, I don't not I love the super brother analogy, but I don't view myself as player one.
Mhm.
And that's me killing my ego.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't do this without you. And I
Yeah.
think I've said that to you several times. Like, I can't do this without you. Um, or I don't want to do this without you.
Yeah.
More importantly,
Right.
not that I can't, because I think I can
You can.
design,
Yeah.
but I don't want to.
Mhm.
And I think that's more important than I can't.
Yeah. That's it for me.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So what started as a small idea, a conversation on the phone, turned into all of this, man. And to think that this is just practice? Practice? We talking about practice?
What?
This is practice?
Yeah. So much has like shifted. I think if it's one thing, I mean, I've learned a lot, but if it's one thing that I can kind of condense it, I know I started off saying that we were wanting to take back the word influencer, but
Mm,
we're more than that. Like we're tastemakers because
yeah,
tastemakers and being a tastemaker involves like a level of curation. We're all about that. That's
facts.
why when you're over there, whoever, had said or made you feel like, the fact that you are a curator was like a knock or like you were being, not genuine. That's not true. That's just who you are.
Yeah.
And, you've brought that into what we do here. And so, yeah, we're not influencers. We are
Nah.
tastemakers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great way to circle
Hmm.
back, because on the first episode you was talking about taking back the power of influencer.
Right.
And even when you said that, I'm like, I ain't no influencer, dog.
Yeah.
Is what you saying sounds really profound. It sounds really good. And for people who want to be influencers, maybe they could take to that
Right.
and they could run with that. But I don't never feel like I'm an influencer.
Hmm.
Like that's not
Yeah. We probably will or have influenced people, but that's not for us to like wear that on our back.
right.
That's just a thing you see what we doing. All right, how can I apply that to what I'm doing? That's something that'll naturally happen. But
Right.
the level of curation that we involve in everything down to the playlists, we're tastemakers.
Tastemakers,
Yeah.
man. And I think that when you think of I feel like being called an influencer is all ego. That's 1,000% ego,
Mm.
right? Because life is about influence,
Yeah.
being influenced and influencing others
Hmm.
to whatever capacity,
Yeah.
right? It's a give and take. It's a constant give and take.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So to say that you are something
Yeah.
that we all are,
Hmm. Right.
you have no right to have that title.
Yeah.
That title doesn't belong to you.
Mm.
That title belongs to God.
Yeah.
God is the master influencer.
Hmm. That's right.
Well, I guess the devil can be viewed as an influencer too.
Mm. Mm.
If you're going to be on that dark side, you
Hmm.
dig? But what I'm
Yeah.
saying is like I think that the title influencer is bigger than mankind.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like humans don't have a right to take that title and like apply it to themselves. It's
Yeah.
similar to what Mike was saying about legacy.
Like, mhm.
Who am I? I'm just passing through. You think I care about what you gonna be thinking about when I'm no longer here and
Yeah.
I've transcended Mike Tyson and I'm now back to whatever
Mhm.
beyond that?
Mhm.
That's ego. And I think that humans are so rooted in ego that we don't even know how to see outside of it.
Mhm.
We don't know how to be outside of it. We don't know how to transcend it.
Yeah.
So shout out to all the people who consider themselves influencers. That's cool. But it's like, what are you really influencing people to do?
Mhm. Yeah.
You influencing people to buy shoes? You influencing people to buy designer clothes?
Right.
What you influencing people to do for real?
Mhm.
You influencing people to get home goods? What you influencing?
Yeah.
What you doing for real?
Yeah.
Are you influencing people to transcend?
Right.
Because if you were doing that, you wouldn't even be calling yourself an influencer.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, so it's like that title, man. I don't like it at all, and I don't think I'll ever like it. It's never gonna be a time when I like that title. So I'm glad that you circled the block because to be a tastemaker, we all have different tastes.
Yeah.
This is the cool in real life taste, and the cool in real life taste is influenced by this, and this.
Mhm.
We're bringing our influences into the taste that we have,
Yeah.
and we're giving you who we are. And I think to be a tastemaker means to be a person who shares,
Yeah.
so to speak. Like we're sharing. Everybody has taste, but to be a tastemaker, like you're sharing what you like. You're
Mhm.
sharing what you love. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And you're giving it to others and you're packaging it up in a nice bow and you're saying, "You know what? Let me make it easy for you.
Yeah.
You don't got to go through the crates and dig through the crates. Let me just make it easy for you."
Mhm.
Boom. There you go. You know what I'm saying? So I think tastemaker really I like that, man.
Yeah.
Tastemakers.
That's right.
That's a new title to put on a jacket. You dig?
Yeah.
So, in this year, what were some favorite moments for you?
um the first photo shoot with Dorian and Jonathan.
So the annual photo shoot.
Yeah.
That was dope.
Yeah. That was, I think, my first taste. I don't know if I've had a photo shoot. Like, I don't think I've ever done something like that before. So that was me, breaking out of my shell and get my little fist together, and just trying to be comfortable because like those pictures have lasted us this whole year.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good moment.
That was a
Um
real good moment. The energy in the room,
mhm.
I ain't gonna let you gloss over that pause. The energy in the room was so great. It was my first time meeting Dorian. And this is why it's like the prayer should really be that things come to me with ease. Good natured people come to me with ease. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Like, I love Dorian.
Yeah.
Like from the moment I saw him, it's like, all right, our spirits connect on some level.
Yeah.
Um, he's shout out to Dorian. He be sending me all these memes and stuff. We
Me
be
too.
connected.
Yeah.
We be connected. But that was a great photo shoot.
Mhm.
And I remember at first when I brought it to your attention, like, yo, we should get it every year. We should do a photo shoot. That's to celebrate ourselves.
Mhm.
He was like, do we really need that? And I kind of forced your hand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I did. You came around, but
Mhm.
like, he was like, do we really need that? Because it was a cost. You know what I mean? And we've dished out everything for Cool in Real Life out of our own pockets. We haven't made anything back, honestly, through the brand.
Yeah.
Maybe respectively on our own.
Right.
Maybe we've come up with some stuff, but so it was a cost. And I
Mhm.
know that we were on a budget.
Mhm.
And that kind of like forget the budget, dog. We doing it. So I think that like that's me kind of pushing you. You accepted it. So it was just beautiful.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't think I've done a photo shoot to that magnitude before.
Yeah.
Like in a studio,
Mhm.
outfits,
Background
background
changes. Yeah.
changes. Even Jonathan has a great spirit, man.
Yeah. He
Shout out
does.
Jonathan.
Shout out Jonathan.
Yeah. And my
So
homie Nick was there, and
Dana.
Dana was there,
Mm-hmm.
and it was us.
We just had it was a good day.
Yeah.
It was a really good day. I think another meaningful moment was when we did the feature work with my mom, going to the
That
wild
was
side.
that was dope.
That was, and thank you for, because I'm so focused on us getting out in time to get to, we had to record, that I wasn't really being present in the moment like we talked about.
Yeah.
And I need to just cherish every moment that I have with, my mom. So just slowing down and like, all right, man, she got us in these woods.
Yeah.
Let me just walk slow. Let me put my arm around her. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let me take my time.
Yeah.
But doing that, she gets so excited when she gets to like share things like that. But then putting that finished product out, and then the response that we got to that, somebody just last night was like, I was just looking at that video that you had with the photographer woman. I was like, that was my mom.
Word.
Yeah. They was like, oh wow, she's so sweet and so good. Like, just
Yeah.
a very positive moment. So thank you for that too.
I'm just so thankful for all the godly downloads.
Mm-hmm.
That's a godly download
Yeah.
moment, because the people that have supported us thus far, I think it has been very surprising to us. Maybe we thought some people were going to support us more than they did,
Mm-hmm.
but the ones that actually showed up, they showed up and they showed out. And your
Yeah.
mom was one of those people.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when we did our first little outing and we were doing B-rolls and we were trying to make the podcast more cinematic and da 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 da. Your mom was right there walking through Shako Bottom with us.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it's called? What's it called
we
in Richmond?
It is Shago Bottom, but
Yeah.
yeah, we were in those
We were in that
areas.
area,
Mm-hmm.
downtown Richmond,
Yep.
that area. And your mom was just saying all of the historical aspects and factors, and I realized that she had a love for photography then, and I got that godly download, and I circled the block.
Yep.
And I was just so thankful. I think that, like, okay, the wild side is wild. The wild side is wild. But I remember during that shoot that we did with your mom, you were a little bit tense.
Mm-hmm.
And I had that conversation with you, like, yo, just enjoy the moment. Like, you don't know how long you're gonna have your mom.
Yeah.
This is a great moment. And then as soon as I said that, boom, all of that went away.
Yep.
And you were present.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the type of friendship that I'm glad we have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You ain't take it all personal. What you mean?
Right.
You know how people be doing,
Yeah.
what you talk about, man?
Right.
You see these weeds? Overgrown and shit.
Yeah.
So, I think that, like, and it was really good to see your mom in that element and to see her be an older woman and super passionate still and
jumping on them rocks.
Yeah. Man. That was a fun day.
It was.
It was a beautiful day.
Mm-hmm.
It was a beautiful moment. I was able to get a lot of photography off in that, and I think I surprised myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the first videos. I put one other video together because up until that point, you were the one that you were doing all of our editing for videos. And then I kind of like I spearheaded that and I did it 1000%. I did that. I did something to be proud about. And I did the black and white John, when we was at
Home Essentials.
Home Essentials, where we lost half of our footage. So those were 3 videos that I did at that point, but I feel like Wild Side is something that really made me feel like, all right, this ain't no imposter syndrome. I got the juice.
Yeah.
Give me the gear. We don't even have the gear, yo. Let's tell the people, like, yo, iPhone 15s. We started this John on a budget. We was like, I'm gonna save that. But at that moment, when we were out there shooting your mom,
yeah,
and I saw the footage after, like, man, we got this.
Yeah.
We got this. Can nobody tell us nothing now?
Yeah. You really can't.
And I sat on that moment, and we didn't create another feature since then because I felt like once we get the equipment, it'll make sense.
Right.
Let's sit a little bit.
Yeah.
There were some opportunities that did come up,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm like, nah, let's sit a little bit. Um, but I've been sitting in that moment like, yo, we really got this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up. Shout out your mom, yo. She's so beautiful.
Shout out my mom. I love her. Yes, she is.
Your mom beautiful, dog.
She is. You're beautiful.
Yeah.
My last, I'm gonna just do 3. I think was getting the Sony, like getting an opportunity to work with, Made You Look, and that being my first paid gig, taking all of that, dumping it right into Cool in Real Life, and us getting, our first like big camera that we needed.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We ain't even talk to people about that.
Mm-hmm.
But we definitely you hit me, it was like, yo, this is how much I made. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna match it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go a little bit above it.
Yeah.
We're gonna get the camera. And we ended up getting that Sony FX30.
Yep.
So we've been sitting on that. I'm so glad that we were like, because at first it was like, yo, do you want to use it now or you want to use it later? I'm so glad that we decided to finish out this year with what we started with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, in due time.
Yeah.
In due time.
Mm-hmm.
Those are some good favorites.
Yeah. What about you?
I think my first favorite moment, I think it could be the annual photo shoot because that's when it became tangible. That's when it became tangible. Like, okay, we're really doing this.
Yeah.
I've always learned that like you can have the idea all you want. You could have a desire to do something, but if you don't put in the effort, if you don't put in the sacrifice for it, then it's not gonna materialize in a real way. So once we came together, we bumped our heads together, we put our money into it, we both respectfully showed up. We both equally did our part. I'm like, okay, I could then start to see like, oh nah, this is cool.
Yeah.
This is cool. That was a great weekend. What else? What else would be a good moment? I think our first time in the common house.
Okay.
When we sat down.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, okay, it's even more tangible. Now we're shooting the first episode. No, let me rewind. After we did the annual photo shoot is when I started to design the social media. And I was like kind of like pulling my hair out a little bit because I know that you guys like you were looking at my personal page, and since then I've wiped what was there. What was there is not there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But you always say, "Yo, the way that you do your page is cool. Like, you'll be fine. Like,
Yeah.
whatever." But I knew that I wanted Cool in Real Life to look completely different from Courtney. Like, I wanted to find a way to make it ours,
Yeah.
and not mine, even though I'm the one designing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that when my approach to design is very minimal at times, and I think that people who focus on the minimalistic side of things, I don't think people realize how much work goes into that. I don't think people understand how much work goes into making something look clean and polished and it flows into itself. So once I came up with the first grid, after we did that annual photo shoot and I started to put the pieces together for our page,
Yeah.
I had 6 things lined up and I showed you. I'm like, I got it.
Mm-hmm.
That was my favorite moment.
Mm-hmm.
That was my favorite moment.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest because it was like, okay, I got it.
That was the formula.
That was the formula. And I have followed that formula all the way through.
Yeah.
Till now.
Mm-hmm.
So when people scroll, if they decide to scroll from top to bottom, it all feeds into itself, like just in a real effortless way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
That's my opinion of it. And the response that we got. Because I don't think people, when I think that as people who create things, right, our friends are so used to us creating stuff.
Yeah.
People are used to seeing stuff come from us, but
Yeah.
I think that it was so good, people were not expecting that. I don't even think we expected it.
Yeah.
So if we didn't expect it, I know ain't nobody else expected.
Mhm.
And it really kind of like knocked people's heads off.
Mhm.
Pause. You know what I mean? I feel like it really did like catch people off guard.
Yeah.
Like, wow, like what is this? Like this is different. It
Mhm.
looks really good. And it never stopped looking good. And that's all intentional. You know what I'm saying? That was a with the Yusef Days on that John. I remember the first post. I'm like,
Yep.
we got it.
Yep. God, remember sitting on that? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was hard to sit on things. It was
Mhm.
hard. But Paul
Hey, yo.
it was hard to have that in the tuck, man. It was hard to come on.
Alright,
You can't pause
I
everything.
didn't say anything.
It was hard to like not publish it as soon as it was created.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that was even with the annual photo shoot. Like when we got those photos back and we were happy with them, it was hard to like contain that and keep it to ourselves. I
Yeah.
wanted to tell so many people. I wouldn't even show my mom the pictures.
Mhm.
I didn't show anybody the pictures.
Mhm.
And um so those are two favorite moments. I think another favorite moment is when we first started shooting with Mochi.
Shifted things.
It shifted things.
Yeah.
It gave us a totally different vibe. I think it spoke more to who we are.
Mhm.
Um Mochi's energy is just great.
Yeah.
From the moment he came to the scene, like to even now,
Yeah.
working alongside Mochi has just been great. And I think that the discomfort that you and I both had in front of the lens,
Mhm.
it kind of disappeared.
Mhm.
Because now it's like when we getting shot now, it's like oh, I'm with the friend, I'm with
Yeah,
the
that's the
homies.
homie.
You know
Mhm.
what I mean? That's the homies. So like, yeah, man, like all of our shoots with Mochi have been favorite moments for me. I think that might be it. I'm sure there's like the video. All right, we'll go into what's our favorite episode, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna chill. I'm
Yeah.
gonna chill. But yeah, I think that there's been a lot of different little pockets of favorites throughout the year. I think just us starting it is a favorite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk about the favorite episode? I
Yeah,
think we
what's your
probably got the
favorite
same one.
episode? Which one?
The video games.
Yes. The video game episode is my favorite episode,
Yes.
man. Like it just thinking about the episode itself is like nostalgia within nostalgia.
Yeah.
Because the games that we were like the experiences that we were on there sharing
Mhm.
are rooted in nostalgia, right?
Mhm.
But now that episode itself is nostalgia in and of itself. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So like, and I think that that was like an episode that a lot of people took to via social media.
Yeah, for sure.
It may not have gotten a lot of views on YouTube,
Mhm.
but we got a lot of engagement
We did.
on Instagram with those clips.
Yeah.
A
That's when
lot.
our demographic of followers definitely shifted with that
Yes.
one. In a good way.
In a great way.
Mhm.
We were able to engage with people that I think our fear going into this was okay, we're two women doing this, and how are we going to get the fellas?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I've always wanted to create a space that's inclusive of everybody.
Right.
The shorties, the fellas, the others, everybody. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So how are we going to get the fellas
Right.
as two women? And when we put out that video game episode and we asked the small mere question, what is your favorite soundtrack of a video? Man, when I tell you them comments blew the hell up,
Blew up.
that's when I put you to the task. I can't handle this, dog. I can't be designing and answering all these daggone comments.
Yeah.
So, man, that was my favorite episode. It was a
Mhm.
beautiful episode.
Mhm.
Yeah. We were glowing in that podcast room too.
We were.
I missed the podcast room. We were supposed to be there this month. to shoot
We were
that
supposed to be there
last,
last weekend.
but it just didn't work out that way. But yeah, the video game.
Yeah.
Fire.
That was my favorite one for sure.
Why was it your favorite?
Just get into video games is one of like my favorite things. I don't really have a space to where like I can talk about that aspect of me. You see the music,
Yeah.
you see the visuals and all of the other things that I work on. But as a woman, being able to like really nerd out about video games and how I've always played them like my whole, life,
Yeah.
that was it meant a lot to me, to be able to express it in that way and just not like some surface level, I'm just saying this to get the attention or to be favorable amongst men. No, I really know what I'm talking about.
You
You know
really
what I
be
mean?
playing we really play games.
We really play games.
Well,
Like,
not as much anymore, but
right.
we did.
Yeah.
And we still do at times.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's never, even if I'm not planning on watching it, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why it meant a lot to me. And to be able to also like work in the soundtrack part of it too.
I remember when LA Noir came out, we were geeked about it back then. You remember you had the
The
booklet?
big thick booklet.
What happened to that
I
booklet?
still got it, child.
You do?
Yeah.
I remember you let me borrow that, John. I was going through it, trying to find little insider. Man, look. Man, we true to this, not new to this, man.
Sure.
I think that episode made me miss our GTA crew. It made me miss those days a little bit. Man, like it took me back to my childhood talking about Donkey Kong Country too.
Yeah.
With Diddy Kong.
I learned a lot, like, because I didn't play Donkey Kong, so I didn't know anything about that soundtrack, Diddy Kong. I was playing trivia with the homies the other day, and a question came up, and I knew to put Diddy Kong because of you. So thank you.
That's the only Diddy we rocking with. Diddy Kong.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
You feel me? But no, that was a great episode. What's your least favorite episode? Anything else?
Relationships.
Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Still haven't watched it. I probably never. I don't want to say never, but yeah, leave that where it's at.
Yeah. I think that's mine too.
Yeah.
Failed relationships.
Yeah.
It's like I'm ready to move on from that.
For sure.
So we gonna move on from that.
Yeah.
What else? We started doing playlists.
We did.
So every month, not only do we come out with a podcast episode, we come out with a playlist, keep people locked in. For our birthday months, we respectfully took over.
Yep.
When we had on a guest, they allowed Silly Genius to take over. What's your favorite playlist?
I don't know if I can narrow it down to a favorite because I feel like once the summertime hit, we fell into a pocket where they just kept getting better and better and better.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed each one more than the last. Each time I was like, I know I said this last month, but this really is my favorite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just kept being like that.
Yeah.
Our summertime run was great. I love that. And then I guess, I'll just put mine just because I was able to, you were like, we need a video. What's up? And it was 11 o'clock at night, or it was like later that night. He was like, you ain't hit me with that video yet. And I was like, I just found it. And, I tried a bunch of different things, but like I kept coming back to it. And I think I had revisited, Blue Eye Samurai. And, just relating to the main character and everything like that, and how she had to like let so much of that hurt go, you know what I mean, to get to where she was at, you know what I mean, because it was vengeful. It was a lot of hate up in that heart, a lot of hurt, and she had to let that go.
She only looked soft when she was butt naked in that daggone You know what scene I'm talking about when she was taking a bath? Yeah. That's the only time she looked soft. Other than that, He-Man. She looked brolic as hell.
She had to protect herself. You know what I mean? So to just picked that, that was just specific to me.
Yeah.
And
That's a great parallel.
yeah.
Wow.
And then, to put the playlist, which was just so much of me, all of the different genres that I like, but then like this is a classic song. If you grew up in DC, Maryland, or Virginia, Sexy Lady, UCB, you know what I mean? It's a go-go song. And then to end it off with like a classic BB and CC, even though we said we don't like gospel, and I still don't, I gotta correct that because I like the gospel I grew up on.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? And so yeah.
Word.
Mm-hmm. What about you?
I think mine. Outside of May. May was good.
Yeah.
May was like banger.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, when we fell into that pocket, I feel like May started that. May, June, July, August. Like we kind of like ushered it in. I think after June, that's when we really turned up.
Mm-hmm.
I started to put some more of myself into the playlist instead of thinking about what other people might want to listen to.
Right.
So I put more electronic music on there, things like that. But I feel like my playlist really speaks to what I'm vibing to. Like I still listen to it. I could listen to that playlist every single day,
It's
nonstop.
good.
Like it's
Mm-hmm.
really good to me. So it's all the things that I think it just speaks to how I feel right now in this autumny vibe. Like autumn going into winter, I listen to a lot of jazz.
Yeah.
So it just speaks really true to that.
Mm-hmm.
I really love the cover. I love us at the Italian market in front of the neon signs.
Yeah.
It just was like, it's just given.
Yeah.
It's just given.
Mm-hmm.
But ours together, I think May might be my favorite one. If I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I think May. I would have to go through. I don't really know. We just be throwing them Jones out. I'm gonna be honest. Like sometimes I go back and listen to them.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when like one of the homies hit me up for the first time, was like, yo, this is my favorite one. That's when I realized people are really tapped into these playlists.
Right.
So that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. I liked yours.
I'm glad.
I liked yours, man, because it was just like, this is really the homie. And we've been able to team up with another brand and create an autumn playlist.
Yep. Shout out to Sterling.
Yeah, shout out Sterling. We made an autumn vibes playlist. It was short and sweet, to the point.
Yep.
And it was autumn in the DMV.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of tap into the DMV. I'm not from the DMV, but I took the task on and we bodied it, yo.
Yeah, we did. That was very good.
But yeah, I don't know. August is popping.
August was good.
August is popping.
August was really good.
I don't know. It might be August, yo. That summertime vibe was like, we really got into a pocket and we stayed there. Like it was just like really, really good vibes. So yeah, I know that going into next year, we talked about potentially not doing playlists anymore. And I wanted to talk to you about that. And I wanted to talk to you about that on air because yeah, I'm kind of putting it out there. Is that something that you still want to do? Is it a little bit too much every single month? Just coming up with songs?
Just a little bit, only because with how I listen to music, sometimes, especially lately, like I'll get into just the rhythm of like just listening to the same thing. So I'm not really like, I'll listen to, new artists who I want to, who have dropped or, whatever. But it's feeling like forced a little bit. So like when you was like, we should stop, I was kind of looking forward to that.
Word.
Then, you felt like it was something that, we should keep going. And
I didn't feel like that.
Yes, you did.
I didn't feel like that. Somebody hit me up.
Somebody hit you up, and then you was like, well, yeah, when somebody hits you up, you'll come up with your reasonings. And then you said that. And then I went out that night and I met a girl who was a supporter. And she was like, I love y'all's playlist. I listen to every one. I look forward to it every month because I know it's going to teach me about some music that I didn't know before. Shout out Dora.
And that's the same daggone response I got. When I told the homie, I was like, we ain't doing them things no more. They was like, hell no, you're not. You're going to keep doing them. And I'm not trying to hear nothing. Yeah. I better hear another one every month.
you
and
know?
they said that, I learned a lot through y'all. You know what I mean? Y'all put me up on a lot of new music.
Yeah.
Um, I say all of that to say, if you guys are listening to this and you like the playlist, yo, let us know in the comments.
Right.
Drop a comment. Let us know your favorite playlist, which month was a banger for you, and if we should continue to do them.
Yes.
And we gonna go off of that. And I'm gonna probably throw a poll up on IG,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll see what the people say.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can see what you mean. Like some months I'm listening to a lot of music and I'm just like, it's overwhelming and I can just throw them all up there
Yeah.
and we can sort through them. Other months I'm not, I'm too busy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not listening to much. And like you said, I'm going back to my go-tos. I'm not necessarily listening to anything new. Um, or I might rotate our playlist nonstop and be listening to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So um that's kind of how I felt when I had to do my month.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I haven't really listened to anything. It was challenging for me to make that playlist because I was so busy when I'm working and I don't really have time to listen to new music when I'm moving around. So I think moving forward, it'll be shorter for sure.
Yeah.
I think 10 songs max
Yep.
is something that's to the point, is cool, is sweet. It's something that we both can handle and manage. I think like the 20 something songs, we might not be able to always put that type of energy out.
Right.
And I think the people will appreciate it nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Next year we're moving a lot more. We have a lot in store. I think that all we can say is stay tuned. Um
That's all
2020
we can say.
2025 gonna be very busy for us.
Yes.
In a good way.
Mm-hmm.
In
A
a good
great
way.
way. You know, we can't say too much. We don't want to give it all away, but like you've been saying, everything has been coming to us with ease.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not coming to us with ease, then we got to spin off of it.
Yeah, man.
And we just basking in that.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Grateful for what's coming up next. Shifting gears a little bit, a lot of bit in a good way, but I'm ready for the challenge of that. I'm ready for the shift. Um, I'm just ready.
Word.
Yeah.
Nah, that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
What are some lessons that you took away from this year with Cool in Real Life?
I don't even know like if I can narrow it down to like s- lessons. It's just I've learned to push past things.
Okay.
Uh my initial, I think, reaction is if you ask me a question or do I want to do something, do I want to do this, is always a no. It's because I got anxiety. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So I've realized that that's something that I do, and that's not good.
Right.
So just taking the time to, instead of letting myself get anxious at the thought, just sit with it a little bit. All right, let's talk it out. And then just try.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be doing monthly photo shoots if it, you know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
just not my
Not
that's
your
just not my
steez.
thing. Yeah, it's not my
Yeah.
steez at all.
Yeah.
And so it's just, little things like that. It's really just pushing past the no and just do, or at least just try and see. Little things like that has been very helpful to me. And I think just continuing to recognize the little nuances about myself and how I can shift. I can't really state how important it is for me to have this be like a safe space for me. And with this, I know I've talked about it before, but it's allowed me to recognize bad behaviors, in myself, and how I need to shift and how I need to show up and how I can do that. And just to have the opportunity to be able to like put that stuff in place in real time, I'm grateful for it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
How about you?
The main takeaway that I got from all of this is to just start.
Mm.
Just start.
Yeah.
Um, things are not always going to be perfect. You're not always going to have the things that you feel like you need or want,
Mhm.
but just start
Yeah.
regardless. And then in due time you can add on.
Yeah.
You can add on. And that's kind of like that brings me into us doing this with an iPhone 15. Um we sat down, we looked at budgets, we saw the specs of the iPhone 15 Pro Max. We saw that we can, get log out of it,
Mhm.
and it was affordable. You know what I mean? And was it what we really wanted? No.
Right.
But it was what was available to us, and we didn't allow that to be like a barricade. We didn't allow that to stop us from creating.
Mhm.
And I think that what I want people to view us as is that everything that people see us do is on a budget. Everything that people see us do are things that we don't necessarily want to do.
Right.
It's within our power to do.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, but you can create beautiful things without having all of the things that you want.
Right.
So I'm just glad that we just started. I think that a lot of times we are waiting for that perfect moment. We're waiting for all of the stars to align, and
Mhm.
that's not realistic.
Yeah.
I think that people do a good job of making it appear that way,
Mhm.
especially now with social media.
Yeah.
But it is not like that. Just start.
Yeah.
And I think people who are really following will appreciate the growth. They'll appreciate the starting point versus where you currently are. And I see each month, like, we get better, we get stronger. I look back at when we first started and I'm like, we're miles away from that.
Yeah.
But we're still in a space of like, this is still practice.
Mhm.
Um, so just start.
Right.
My good homie Brandon, he has so many great ideas. I think about him often,
Mm.
especially with doing Cooler in Life. Like I bring him with me often
Yeah.
with everything that I create and design. I have him in mind because he was also like a mastermind of sorts.
Mm.
He had great ideas, but he sat on them.
Mm.
He was waiting for like the perfect moment. And
Yeah.
then when I look at his trajectory, that moment never came.
Mm.
He was taken out of the moment. So, you know, just start.
Yeah.
Just plant something down. Put something down. You don't know how it's going to resonate with someone.
Right.
It might not be the best work that you can do, given if you had better equipment, if you had better resources, if you had better exposure, but just start. Like
Right.
what's the harm in that?
Yeah.
Why can't we show progression?
Yeah. Just trust. Show the
Everything doesn't
process.
have to be polished, man.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I blame influencers for that.
Yeah.
Because when you look at their content or content creators,
Mm.
their content looks very polished. And we might also come off like that, right?
Yeah.
But this is still practice for us. Like so I can only, I know it looks really good,
Mhm.
but it's still practice. So all I can tell people is stay tuned. We're still operating in a space of we're just starting with what we have and being appreciative of what we have where we are
Right.
and creating within the realms of where we can
Yeah.
create. And I feel like when you're extremely grateful for what you do have and where you are actually, just so much more is given to you. I look at all of the doors that were opened for us because we sat in a space of gratitude,
Yeah.
that I think that if we were ungrateful to that, those doors would never even be presented to us
Mm.
at all.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest takeaway. That's the biggest lesson.
Yeah.
Just start.
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
It's
man.
very important
It's very
for
important.
sure.
I feel like it's getting dark in here.
It's getting a little dark.
Yo, this is the bad part of autumn. It gets dark at 3:30. Can I open this window?
You mean put the blind up?
Yeah.
Want me to put the blind up?
Put the bond up, please. It's so yo. We're all going through this because I'm going to assume that most of us are above the equator. These days getting darker, y'all. Protect your mental health.
For sure. Seasonal depression is a real thing.
Yeah, man.
So stay on the up and up as much as you
You
can.
was in the bed by 4 the other day because you thought it was 11.
I was in it was 6:54.
You thought it was like
I
11.
thought it was time to go to bed. So I just naturally it got mad dark. I was like, oh, time to go to bed. I wasn't tired. I was like, well, time to get in the bed. Then when I looked at the time, I was like, ain't no way. It ain't even 7 o'clock yet.
I'm starting to feel like a little black bear.
Time to
I'm ready
hibernate.
to hibernate. I'll be sleepy. I want my stews. I want my vegan stews and my vegan chilies.
Yeah.
And go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Leave me alone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I have to be mindful of my mental health. And I think creating helps me with this.
Yeah.
Cause even if it's dark out, I'm still creating.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
shout out to us, man.
Shout out.
Is there anything you want to add?
I just want to say thank you to our audience.
Facts.
Every person who has ever watched the ad and clicked on follow from that ad, subscribe from that ad, especially through the grief series. I know that those were very long, but those of you who sat through them and took the time to tell us how it resonated with you, thank you. Thank you for all of the love that you show us on social media, all of the likes, all of the comments, especially those of you who are just our consistent supporters.
Yes.
Y'all keep us going, seriously. You really put
Facts.
that battery in our back as well. So I'm just grateful for all of you who have taken the time to show us love and continue to do so, and will continue to do so in the future. Thank you.
That's a good way to put it. I don't really have anything more to add to that. I'm just enamored by the response. Especially the people that are clicking on those ads.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And finding us.
Mhm.
Look, my mom always
Shout out Miss K.
and she breaking through. She breaking through the do not disturb.
That means she called twice in a row.
She breaking through. Bye, girl. I'm recording, but but no, like I'm extremely thankful. I'm extremely thankful for the new people that are coming in and supporting. There was somebody that messaged us, and yo, this is another thing that I want to give people. Check your inbox on social media. You don't know who's trying to reach you. Go through that spam. Check the inbox, especially if you're creating things and you have like a business account or like a creative account. Check your inbox because you don't know who's trying to reach out to you. There was a gentleman who reached out to us and they were just like, I'm so glad I found y'all. I don't they started with, I don't know if you're ever going to see this.
Yeah.
I responded 10 minutes later because
Mhm.
I check everything.
Mhm.
I might not respond. I might get the homie to respond sometimes. But I check everything. I'm always looking at the messages. I'm always looking at the comments. I'm always looking at the likes. I'm
Yep.
always looking at the views. I see every single person.
Yep.
And I think in this, I don't ever want to come off like I'm not accessible.
Mhm.
Like if you talk to me, I will talk back.
Right.
Whether it's on my personal page, whether it's through Cool in Real Life, I'm always accessible. I think I always want to be accessible to people, to
Yeah.
real people. I want to show that I'm a real person too.
Yeah.
I'm not an influencer. I'm not this content creator person. I'm Courtney. And I'm giving you guys what God has given me. And I'm just allowing that to flow however it may. And to see people resonate with that in a real way is beautiful as hell. So shout out to the homie that inboxed the Cool in Real Life account and thought that we would never see it. It was seen.
Yep.
And it was responded to, and it was taken, it was received well. So yeah, man, reach out to us. Keep hitting us up. Keep talking to us. We're real people. I promise you, we are real people. I don't ever want to be taken as like some far-fetched person that's like just creating content. I think that it's easy to kind of fall into that.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to be viewed in that light. So thank you. I'm so grateful for the response. I'm like in awe. Especially the homies that always pull up.
Every single time.
Every single time we see y'all.
Every single time.
Stay tuned, man. That's all I can say. We can't say more than that, but I think that for the people who are really tapped in, y'all are going to be extremely blown away by what we put out next year. Just stay tuned.
That's it.
That's it. That's all.
That's it. That's all.
We did it.
We did. You want to wrap it up?
We wrapping this John up. Pause.
This
Not
has
pause,
been
but pause. PAWS.
This is a Cooler Real Life podcast where passions and purpose align. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you in advance for staying. We out.
We out.
Cool.